We had a little little road trip with a Sweppy Charger. Kind of one of its first, I don't know, longer road trips. We just went about 250 miles from Great Falls, had a little deal here in Kalispell, Montana. Beautiful mountains and sky today. But a little update on how she is. It was high 90s and pushing 100 degrees today and yesterday, and believe it or not, a dark brown metal cab with all this glass, it's a wee bit warm. We had the AC running as hard as it can, and it's better, but you're definitely not chilly when it's 100 degrees in. And then the floorboards with the exhaust crossing over right through here, the floor pan was getting a wee bit warm, so stopped and grabbed a floor mat and stuffed it over the top of that. That's kind of making that a little bit more comfortable. With the modern motor and smaller grill and radiator, we were stuck in traffic and it was hotter than hell, and motor was definitely climbing in temperature, so you had to turn off the air conditioner. But that's the thing of running old classics and fun cars, that there's always going to be some little things with it. But yeah, she didn't like the traffic, didn't like sitting there in 100-degree heat. If you turn the AC off, it doesn't get warm. If you're running down the road, it doesn't get warm. But sitting in traffic with the AC on, it definitely could not keep up. Motor got hot, cab got hot, so we had to turn that off. So a little bit of a warm day, but got a little more traveling to do. Just figured do a little update on the good old Sweppy. She took a good little road trip. She said about 250 miles this out here, and we heading back today. So 2-3 hour drive, depending on how you drive. She gets right on down the road. Maybe I'll talk a little more about her when I get her home. So when stopping for errands, find trees so that all this glass, all this hot metal can stay out of that hot ass sun. Had to stop and make some errands. Keep her cool before you hit the road. They all approve. Mr. Bear. We were making good time, but it looks like fuel-efficient vehicles go slower than I do. He's hitting his brakes. I don't know if I can get the mountain over there.
Here, I'll try it. Hold on. Got it.
Little scenery while driving. Keep it between the lines. Yay, fresh tar and gravel. We've been sitting in line for a while, waiting to get through. Now we're driving on fresh sticky tar and gravel.
Yay.
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 Although I did build this to drive it, so I should not be upset. Running right in running temperature, but sitting idling for so long with the AC on, it definitely got hot, so we had to turn the AC off and sit with the windows down. Now we're throwing gravel. Clinkety clink clink clink. See them here? Can we focus on the millions of cars behind us, or the vehicle in front them about to rear end? Alright, well, we did get home a little while ago. We've been pushing triple digits all the way home, and for the last 100 miles, if I had the AC on, the truck definitely ran quite warm. So unfortunately, my poor wife and I ran with windows down and no AC. And when you have all this window, and I have the back hatch open right now, and all this metal top with the coatings and everything that way, and the glass there, it definitely gets warm. At the floor mats we put down in here to cover up the tranny hump definitely kept our feet a way cooler, so that was a very big benefit. But you also have to think about, I also put in the little Mini Max AC unit. That's the smallest unit they have, which fits for this cab and everything that way, but it's just too small for that. Well, if this bottom, the floor down in there, AC doesn't make cold. All you do is remove heat. So if you're putting cold air coming out of here, that coil that's in front of your radiator is raging hot from the heat that's coming out here. So the hotter it is in this cab, the hotter that AC coil is. And with all this glass and everything in here, that was running so hard that with AC going and triple digit temperatures outside and pulling a little bit of hills, the motor just didn't like the heat. So that's one of the problems that she was having. The good news is, ran great, ran super smooth. Just temperature, like, or in town when we were like on black asphalt, bumper to bumper cars, and the exhaust of the car in front of you, and just sitting there, the temperature would just slowly rise up, just sitting. And yes, the modern motor and everything was original to what it was there. Why didn't it? Well, the newer trucks have larger radiators, a larger grill space. Their AC condenser is actually separate. It sits off to the side and has its own separate fan, that the AC condenser doesn't actually go through the engine's cooling. This radiator and this grill is smaller and narrower because the front end's a lot smaller, so it's a smaller surface, even though it's an aluminum 4-core radiator and all that stuff with dual fans and blah, blah, blah. You have a tranny cooler, your AC coil, and power steering cooler all in front of that radiator. That's just blocking more airflow, trying to fit all that modern stuff in this old grill hood. But I also had an idea that I think is kind of silly, funny. Got this whole back here. I'm thinking about putting a curtain rod up in this top corner, bringing it over to this corner, and draping a curtain between the back seat and the front seat to keep the back temperature a little bit different than the front temperature. Then the AC doesn't have to work as much, and I bet you the people in the cab would be much comfortable and only do it on crazy hot days or major road trips. It might be corny, it might be silly, but you know what? I'm going to try it. I'm going to put an extended curtain rod or a tension rod in the back. I'm going to sling a curtain from the left to the right and just block off the back seat just so the front cab, and so that I'm back to a 66 Dodge cab, and I bet that AC would keep up. And then if that AC is going to keep up, then it may not put as much heat to the front, and the engine's not going to get as hot with the AC on. So worst thing that can happen, it doesn't work, and you gotta kind of not run it. But that's the end of that. We had a wonderful time. It was a fun little drive. This was basically its first major little drive, and ran like a top. Everything was great. A little bit of wind noise for the aerodynamics of a brick, but I have no complaints. And I just figured I would do a little update on the Sweppy Charger, how she was running. She was running great, doing wonderful. So I think I am going to throw a curtain. Don't have the gun in it. Staying in hotels, I wasn't going to leave the gun in the back seat. So, yep, I want to put a rod from there over to there. Have a curtain blocking that off. Maybe a maroon or a plaid curtain or something, a little silly. And I want to run it to see if that keeps the cab cooler. Signing off. Everyone have a great one.